Ready.
All right, today we're here with Trapper, Scout, and Sadie. Sadie over here is a little beagle. And the Guardian contacted us to work on having some accidents in the house, listening to commands, and then Trapper here has been doing some resource guarding to the Guardians and to some of the other dogs. So I wanted to start off with going over having accidents in the house. One you want to start doing is create a journal of when she tends to have accidents. When she has accidents, you'll start to see if after recording it for a couple of days, sit. You'll start to notice a couple of trends, I bet, and I think that's when you should set a reminder in your phone and put that about 10 to 15 minutes before they would usually go outside or before that accident would occur, to start kind of getting ahead of the ball there and be able to get them to the point where they're going out to the bathroom beforehand. And I'd also encourage you to go out I'd also encourage you to go outside with them, bring a treat or two with you, and as soon as she starts to go potty, say potty or whatever marker word you want to use. And then as soon as she does, hold still. And then as soon as she's done, walk over, give her the treat. When the treat touches her lips, say the word potty again. This will start making the association between, oh, when I go outside I get food and I get rewarded for this, and when I go inside it's ignored. Remember, if you reprimand your dog for going potty in the house, they just think they shouldn't go in front of you, not in the house, just not in front of you, which makes this so much harder to do over time. And saying the word potty, if that's your marker word that you want to use, sounds very different than potty! So make sure you say it consistently every single time. Okay, so the dogs also have, the two Coonhounds have a tendency of getting car sick. So to help out with that, we can use a little bit of desensitization to the car. So what you want to do is start off with just putting them in the car, give them a couple treats, take them out of the car, just so they stop making the association that every time they go in the car, they get sick, or maybe they get anxious, or a little, or they think they're going somewhere exciting, so they get so worked up, they start vomiting in the car. So do that, and then you want to maybe have your daughter or your boyfriend kind of help you out with this one, and get in the car, have someone in the back with some treats. Then maybe only move a foot back, give a treat, go forward again, give a treat, they get out of the car. Do this over and over again until you're able to start going down the road. I would start just by going up and down the driveway, going around the little cul-de-sac out here, going for very short durations, but always make sure it ends on a good note. If they start getting really anxious, you went a little too fast. So make sure to keep going in really slow time periods until the dogs have worked up the ability to not get car sick. The other thing I want to talk about is some counter conditioning. So the dogs have a tendency of barking outside. They can't distinguish the difference between why you would disagree with them at the 58th bark. So you want to try to disagree with them at the very first time they start barking. You can do this by using the escalating consequences, and you have about 3 seconds to disagree with them, or use some counter conditioning. So that can involve coming outside. If you see someone coming up the road and it's something they might typically bark at, grab a handful of treats and start giving them treats as it's approaching around the cul-de-sac. As it starts to go away, remove the treats. Okay? So let's have us work on getting the dog to stop barking at cars and people walking by. The last thing that I want to talk about was making sure that you practice the claiming the door exercise that we went over, and to use this, go through this about 2 to 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks, and then at least once a day for the 2 weeks after that. So over the next month, 2 to 3 times a day for the first 2 weeks, and then once a day afterwards. This was great to use when one of the guardians is coming home, text the other guardian and say, hey, I'll be home in 1 minute. You can kind of prepare yourself to work on the claiming the door exercise. You can also involve the kids. They do a great job at usually playing the part of the guest, so you can get some really good practice there. You want to get to the point where that knocking, they don't care anymore. They're either laying down still or they might stand up, but they're pretty low energy. And that way, when you do have a real guest, they're much more comfortable, and that's the only new stimulus, and it's not the whole knocking on the door, opening the door. You want them to be very calm and staying behind the invisible boundary that we set. And the other thing is make sure that you're using the escalating consequences to have them respect your personal boundaries and space. When they come over and want attention, you don't want them to put their paws on you, because that's really demanding attention, and they're asking really to kind of put you in more of a follower position and them in a leadership position. If they can ask for when they get attention. So you also want to use petting with a purpose for a reward. They come over to you, ask them to do something such as sit, and then you can reward them. Say the command word again, sit, and then pet them. You can pet them for however long you want to after they do something like that. So petting with a purpose, again, rewarding your dog should occur within 3 seconds, that time window. And you don't want to practice training for much more than 2 to 3 minutes at any given time. So that's really better to break this up into small increments throughout the day, is practice one thing, get a handful of treats, or do one cleaning the door exercise, and then do that again at a later time period. Getting a nap in between is the most beneficial. For the resource guarding, the last thing I want to discuss, just to kind of keep the dogs, we set up a structured feeding ritual for the dogs, but Trapper has shown some resource guarding towards some of the other dogs. So to make sure that they're safe, I want to encourage the guardian to possibly start introducing a muzzle in a really positive way through using positive reinforcement. Put a treat in the muzzle, let them eat the treat out of the muzzle. Use an open caged muzzle. It allows them to still breathe and keep their mouth open. And then take the muzzle off, let them eat the treat, so on and so forth. Do that 5 to 10 times, and then put it on, take it off, give them the treat, where you're slowly increasing the duration. At some point, you want the dog to start wagging her tail when she sees the muzzle, but this isn't a bad thing. We're not punishing her. We're just keeping the other dogs safe so she can't keep resource guarding and escalating to the point of biting out and creating any harm to the other dogs. If the guardians notice her growling at the other dogs, or starting to curl her lips up, or putting her chin over the other dog's back, this is a great time to disagree with her or to redirect her in a positive way. Get out a handful of treats, ask her to sit, ask her to do a couple of tricks with the other dogs to just create a potentially negative experience into a positive one. So you're getting ahead of things before it escalates into a disagreement between the dogs. So just remember, everything you do trains your dogs, only sometimes you mean it.